Mary Agnes Welch. I'm the chair of Westminster Housing Society, and I've known Mike as sort of a neighbor for years, but most intensely during our time together on the Westminster Housing Board. Mike is the most active, most tenant-focused, most compassionate, most relentless board member at Westminster Housing Society, and I would argue one of the most relentless activists in West Broadway. He kind of brings a real tenant focus to our board, which is vital to the work that we do. He's always pushing us to serve tenants better, to solve all the little problems that grow into big problems, to make sure we're offering really good property management to our tenants, and to just create that sense of community in West Broadway on his own darn street. He's kind of the go-to guy for all of our tenants if they have issues or they're not maybe getting the service they need from our property manager or from us. He is kind of the nexus of really all of our tenants.
My name is Greg McPherson, and I'm the Executive Director at West Broadway Community Organization. And Mike was someone that I met in a previous position with the organization. I worked as a kind of a tenant support community safety coordinator. And Mike was someone who was just always around. Every community meeting that I went to, Mike seemed to be there. And he pulled me aside pretty early on and always offered a lot of encouragement and good advice. Just a really nice man who actually seemed to care genuinely. Mike is somebody who's really quite selfless in terms of his generosity with his time and energy and his skill set too. He's put himself out there for many years, trying to help other people, particularly people with barriers to helping themselves. So he's been an advocate for such a long time, specifically for tenants, working with Westminster Housing Society, he's been a board member for West Broadway Community Organization. He's been an employee of West Broadway Community Organization. He continues to be a volunteer for West Broadway Community Organization. Just a really strong advocate and a tireless worker for people who oftentimes find themselves either in core housing need or working with landlords that are challenging. Mike's been a person that a lot of other tenants have leaned on for a whole generation.
There are two words actually that come to mind when I think of Mike Maunder. One is relentless. He is just really relentless in making sure our tenants have what they need, are getting the services they need, that we're doing right by them, and he kind of never lets things drop, which is exactly the kind of activist you need in a neighborhood. The second word that comes to mind is institutional memory. Mike knows the neighborhood. He knows all the history. He knows histories of buildings and of people and of things that have worked in the past and things maybe that didn't work and we shouldn't try again. He really knows West Broadway, probably better than anybody else in the neighborhood, and that kind of memory is super valuable. I don't know if Mike always knows how valuable and what a good kick in the pants he is, and how interesting and enjoyable he is to talk to, and just what a pleasure it is to work with him, because he really does keep Westminster on its toes.
And I think he's so deserving of an award like this, because so often people like Mike just do this out of the kindness of their heart, and while some of us try to find ways to say thank you, it's a moment like this that we can really do it. Mike, you're the reason why I stayed in this position and doing this work as long as I have. I often refer to you as my work uncle, and that comes from a place, it's partly of humor, but also of respect and love. I think that you've become a friend that I've learned to count on and really appreciate. The way you conduct yourself with people is something that's quite aspirational. Thank you so much on behalf of West Broadway for all that you've done and you continue to do for us.